Namaste and welcome back to today's episode of Mahabharata Matters. In the previous episode, we saw that Arjuna was on exile for a year. On the way, he had married Ulupi and Chitrangada. 4 more months of his exile were left. He was remembering Krishna. He also remembered how Krishna and his cousins had described Krishna's beautiful sister Subhadra. He had fallen in love with her just by hearing about her, without even seeing her. He thought he will go visit them in Dwaraka. He started traveling towards Dwaraka. But he was afraid of Balarama. He did not want to approach directly. He disguised himself as a sannyasi and he stayed in a temple near Dwaraka. One day when the Vrishnis, Balarama, Krishna, all of them had come to the temple, Balarama saw the Yati, the sannyasi who was actually Arjuna in disguise. He wanted to invite the sannyasi to their palace to come stay with them as rainy season was coming up. Krishna pretended to dissuade Balarama from inviting the young Yati. But then Balarama did not want to listen to Krishna. He invited him to come and stay with them anyway. Krishna, of course, knew that this was none other than Arjuna in disguise who had come seeking for Subhadra. He wanted to tease him. So Arjuna went to the palace of Balarama and Krishna and he stayed there. Here, Subhadra too had heard about the valor and beauty and prowess of Arjuna. She too had fallen in love with him without seeing him. After a few months, Arjuna revealed to her that he really was Arjuna. She was ecstatic. Krishna knew about everything. He was pleased to see both Arjuna and Subhadra very happy to be in love with each other. He suggested to them to get married in the Gandharva form, which means the lady elopes with the man she loves. He said when all the Vrishnis would have gone away for some time, he suggested Subhadra to get his chariot ready so that Arjuna can take her away to Indraprastha. They did just like that. So when they all had gone away for some time, Subhadra, who was in the palace, prepared Krishna's chariot and tied all the horses and everything. Arjuna rode the chariot and she became the charioteer. They left Dwaraka and traveled towards Indraprastha. When Balarama and everyone came back, Balarama was furious to see that Subhadra had gone away with Arjuna. But then Krishna pacified him and said she had chosen a suitable groom for herself and Arjuna was a very virtuous person too. Balarama was pacified. Here, Arjuna's exile was completed. He was traveling towards Indraprastha. Upon reaching Indraprastha with Subhadra, Arjuna was afraid that Draupadi would not accept Subhadra as a co-wife. He wanted to reveal the news to her gently. He asked Subhadra to dress up as a Gopika and go and introduce herself to Draupadi as Krishna's sister. Exactly as Arjuna expected, Draupadi welcomed Subhadra with open arms. Later on, Arjuna came and said that she was married to Arjuna now. Knowing that she was Krishna's sister, Draupadi accepted her willingly as the co-wife. She even blessed Subhadra that may you beget a son who will be a hero. We will see in the future who that son will be. Later on, all the Vrishnis came from Dwaraka to Indraprastha to perform the celebration and rituals of Arjuna and Subhadra's marriage. The wedding was done with all grandeur. After the wedding, all the Vrishnis except Krishna went back to Dwaraka. Krishna stayed on upon the request of his sister Subhadra and Pandavas and Draupadi. What are our takeaways from the story? When love is pure, the person should not hesitate to take any step. We saw that in Arjuna and Subhadra in this story. Also, dealing thoughtfully in a difficult situation is very essential. We saw Arjuna ask Subhadra to introduce herself as Krishna's sister rather than Arjuna's wife. The blow would be soft on Draupadi because she loved Krishna. The same thing can be said in many ways. One has to be mindful about the person who is listening and say the facts as that would please the listener also. That's what we understand from the Subhadra, Draupadi and Arjuna story. With these thoughts, we come to the end of today's episode. Remember, in this series, we are discussing matters of Mahabharata because even today, Mahabharata matters. Hari Om!